Today I'm actually using some herbs from my own garden. I wanted to start growing some of my own vegetables and herbs and things just so that I had fresh produce available for my own use at all times rather than using some of the things that are filled with chemicals and pesticides at the store. Let's go outside and pick some herbs. Two of my favorite herbs are basil and oregano, and those are the ones that I'm going to be using today. So I have my basil now, quite a big bunch of it. And the special thing about this is when you start to pick it, it really gets fragrant. It's so beautiful. It's such a nice herb to have in your garden for so many things. And since I'm cooking some Italian today, I'm really gonna need my basil. And I'm just going to get some little bits of oregano here. I love oregano so much. I love basil so much. I love having them in my garden. They're both such beautiful, strong, vibrant herbs. I have some lettuce here that's kind of mushy, but maybe I'll get a little mint too. All right, now that I have gathered my herbs for the day, it is time to go cook. Today I'm doing a kind of fun what I eat in the day, and it is my full day of comfort foods. And some of you might laugh at me because some of these are a little bit on the healthier side for like what a comfort food would be considered, but for me, they are some of my absolute ideal meals. So I'm going to start out with breakfast, of course. What I like to do in the breakfast is drink a lot of water every single day, just something really good. When your stomach is empty, it's nice to put some hydration in there for your body, for your skin, for your health. And lately I've been adding this Hydration Inner Beauty Boost by The Beauty Chef, and it is a prebiotic probiotic elixir. It has natural electrolytes and is really good for gut health, helping keep your skin hydrated. So typically what I do is I just add a splash of this to 8 to 16 ounces of water, depending on the day. This is a smaller glass, but it has this really like fresh coconut flavor. And any of you guys who know me know that I do not like coconut, but the coconut flavor of this is really fresh and it's very enjoyable. So I don't mind it at all. Plus it has that little boost of hydration that I feel like is really good for your skin, especially in the summer when you're sweating all the time, or for me, I travel so much. It's nice to have that. So, while I drink my water, I will typically start to make my breakfast. Today I have an avocado. Surprise. So I'm just going to slice this guy in half. Beautiful, stunning. One of the things that I like to do when I am making an avocado toast is slice the avocado while it is still in its shell. So I just do these very little small slices, and then once I put it on the toast, you'll see how beautifully it spreads out. So from here, you should have a really pretty pre-sliced avocado. And I'm actually not going to scoop this out yet. I'm going to stick it off to the side while I prepare the rest of my breakfast. I have a little mini multi-grain loaf here that I'm going to be using because I like just a little bit of an avocado toast because I'm making eggs as well, my favorite. If I can get this guy open. Okay, these things are the worst. And now I'm going to start toasting my bread. I like to toast my bread in the pan because I like that little crispiness that you get from some melted butter in the pan with your bread. So while my toast is cooking, I am going to start prepping some eggs. I have a bowl here, a fork to scramble them up. For me, it's really important to use certified humane eggs, just because if you don't have that stamp, you don't know how the chickens are being raised or how they're being kept, and I like having that little bit of peace of mind when it comes to my eggs. So I'm just going to crack these both into a bowl. All right, I'm gonna grab my bread because it is just about done. Look at how beautiful that is. So I'm just gonna set this off to the side. And I'm not gonna put the avocado on yet so that it doesn't get soggy before my eggs are done. I'm going to put in a little bit of black pepper, little sea salt, and I like to put minced onions in my eggs. It's something that my dad started doing a little while ago, and for whatever reason, I just really, really liked it. So I like to stick a bunch of those in there. It doesn't make it taste oniony, it just kind of gives it a more robust flavor. Fun little bonus thing, I grew up learning that you put a little bit of milk or water into your scrambled eggs. So, surprise, water. I'm just going to put like a little splash. It's like the tiniest bit, but it helps scrambled eggs taste better. I don't know. And I'm just going to scramble these up really quickly. So I'm just going to stick a little bit of butter into my pan over here on medium-low heat and let that melt. I discovered recently that using chopsticks helps you create the most amazing like fusion of scrambled eggs in an omelet ever. So I just kind of stir my eggs with chopsticks as they're cooking. I'm going to stick in some mozzarella now, just on the top of that, right before it's finished so it has a chance to melt a little bit. A little bit for me, you know. I need a snack. Coming back over to my table, I can now plate my avocado, and I'm just going to spoon half of this out because I do have quite a small bit of toast. And then you can just mush it onto your bread, and it's like such a pretty little toast. Going to just stick a little bit of that on my avocado. Now I'm going to be using a little bit of this Malden sea salt, which are these beautiful sea salt flakes, and my favorite, crushed red pepper flakes, and that's it. I'm coming for you, Ricky baby. So now that I have showed you one of my absolute favorite breakfasts of all time, I am going into lunch. And this is a pretty properly healthy lunch, but it's one of my huge comfort foods. I remember having this exact meal for dinner over and over and over again when I was younger, and I always cook it for myself when I am feeling a little bit homesick or I miss my parents, my brother. I'm cooking some rice pilaf, some asparagus, and some salmon. So I'm gonna start by getting the rice pilaf on the stove while my oven is preheating. Next, I'm going to just stick the salmon in the oven. Super simple prep. I'm literally just sticking it in the pan here. Wash my hands now that I touched salmon. I'm going to throw on some black pepper, some sea salt. Then I'm going to add some pats of butter on top of that. This is the part where it starts to get a little bit bad and a little naughty. I have a sprig of rosemary from my garden. It is like so much more fragrant than anything you could get at the grocery store. I'm so excited to eat the salmon. And I'm just going to stick that on top. I'm just going to put some water in the base of this as well, just so that the salmon really steams. I'm just going to stick the top on and stick it in the oven. Next is the asparagus. And asparagus is super easy to cook. You just have to cut off like the gross parts at the bottom. Typically, the best way to do that is to pick one asparagus out, hold it on both ends, And then wherever it snaps, this one snapped really far up. Yeah, that's still pretty good. So I'm just going to cut all the bad bits off the bottom here. I like to keep the elastics on because it just keeps everything together. Asparagus can be a little bit tricky to work with. Put this on medium. I'm going to stick some asparagus in the hot pan with the butter and just kind of like use my hands to cover the asparagus with a little bit of that butter. Put a little olive oil, some black pepper, a little bit of sea salt. Going to toss it again. You're going to take a little bit of water, nice hot pan. And let it steam up. Okay, the asparagus is nice and steamed, so we're going to let the rest of the water kind of boil off and saute these in the pan just a bit. I believe our rice is actually also done, so I'm going to take that off the heat. That looks perfect. I think my salmon is ready, so I'm going to pull it out of the oven. Boom. Would you look at that? I'm going to start out by grabbing a lot of asparagus. I'm a big, big asparagus fan, and I honestly could eat it all day. Some of this rice pilaf. Also one of my favorites. Very carefully going to grab my salmon and stick it on the plate. So now that I have cooked, I am going to taste. I actually haven't had rice pilaf in a while, so I'm kind of excited. Oh my God, it tastes like my childhood. Wow, the salmon is so good. You can really taste the rosemary. When it's fresh like that, you get flavor like no other. A little asparagus. And this is the piece de resistance. I think this is really where the whole day comes together. This is the piece de resistance. It is my absolute favorite meal ever. I am making bolognese for you guys, and I think it just really brings the entire day together. You're gonna need 2 big honking onions. And these guys, I am just going to cut up and dice so that I can stick them in my pan to start sweating. So a little trick that I've learned from cutting onions over the years is that if you slice down all the way through the onion and then slice across, it just makes the whole onion chopping process go by so much quicker. So I have my onions all cut, and I'm just going to stick these in the pan with the butter and add a little bit of olive oil as well. I'm just gonna stick in a little bit of salt and pepper. So from here, I'm just going to let the onions sweat until they're starting to look a little translucent. And I'm going to chop up some garlic. If you squish the garlic like that, it makes it so much easier to get the little casing off of it. And then you can dice it up like you would with the onions. I'm actually going to add this to the onions. Now I have my onions cooking down, and I'm going to start with my meat. I have a few sausages here. I normally use sweet Italian sausage and hot Italian sausage, but today I'm using chorizo, and I'm just going to slice the casings open And you can use like 2 to 3 of these if they're big. I would say maybe like 2 sweet Italian and 2 hot Italian.
Paulie D from the Jersey Shore, baby. Check it in.
Now we're going to go put this on the pan. I like to kind of piece up the sausage because it's all really stuck together. So I take it bit by bit and stick it into the pan. Meat is cooking. Onions are ready, so I'm going to put some tomatoes in. I always get crushed tomatoes from Cento. I'm also going to stick in a can of tomato paste, and this just helps to thicken the sauce and give it a little bit more of a tomatoey flavor. Oops. Tutti ravioli. Mamma mia. I have my herbs that I picked from my garden earlier, and I'm just going to roll the basil so it's a lot easier to cut, and then just slice this into strips. And I also have some oregano that I'm just going to slice up quickly as well. So now I have all of these beautiful, fresh Italian herbs. And I'm going to stick these in the tomato sauce. Oh, yeah. Now I'm sticking in a bay leaf for extra pizzazz and flavor. Once again, some pepper and some salt. And I'm going to add a little bit of water just to sort of thin out the sauce a little bit so that it can cook down. So I drained the fat from the meat just to get rid of all of that like extra stuff that we don't need, and now I'm going to stick it in with the tomatoes. Give that a quick stir. Look at that, already it looks amazing. So now I'm going to let the sauce cook probably about an hour. Normally I like to let it simmer for 4 hours if I have the time. But while that is cooking down, I'm going to make a quick little dessert with you guys. This is just like a really easy, delicious dessert. All you need is heavy whipping cream, a little jar with a lid. I like to add a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of vanilla extract. You can also add honey if you like, but I'm going to omit the honey today. You're just gonna stick some of that cream, maybe like 1/3 of the way up into your jar. Little bit of cinnamon, and then a little splash of the vanilla. This is also like a great little date dessert because it is kind of romantic with the quick whipped cream. It's nice and fresh. You have some cherries that are also very amazing to dip in it. And so literally what you do is you just shake it and shake it and shake it until you can feel the liquid start to get thicker. My whipped cream is just about done. Towards the end, it's literally like 3 shakes from it going to being perfect to too much. So you want to be a little bit careful and check it every like 5 shakes or something. But mine right now is this really beautiful, kind of almost stiff peak. So I'm just going to stick a dollop of this on my plate, maybe 2 dollops. Now I'm going to stick some cherries on my plate with that. These are so beautiful too. They were sitting out in the sun, so they're kind of like sun ripening. And now I have a cute little sprig of mint also from my garden that I'm just going to stick in there as a sweet little garnish. I'm just going to pop this in the fridge quick while I finish off the rest of my dinner. Ah, my sweet whipped cream. Now we have our pasta, and I chose pappardelle because that is my absolute favorite pasta. It's also a thicker pasta, so it holds the sauce a lot better than some of the thinner pastas can. I'm just going to stick these in my boiling water and let them cook. Easiest thing to plate almost ever. I'm making a bowl for my videographer as well. the lovely Lewis. And I'm just going to stick some pasta in here. And spoon the bolognese over the top of that. I'm going to add a little bit of grated Parmigiano Reggiano to the top of that. How much cheese do you like, Lewis?
I like a lot of cheese.
He likes.
Pile it on.
He likes a lot of cheese. All right, that's what you got. Jessica likes a nice little sprinkle. And I'm going to finish it off with a little bit of fresh basil on top. And that's it. There you have it. A beautiful bolognese. Oh, you know what I am going to do? I'm going to get my cherries. Let me know what your favorite comfort foods are, and don't forget to tag me on Instagram if you try out any of these dishes. I always love seeing you guys recreate these things. Oh no. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to join the Clementine family. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Mwah.